Hey everybody, Ryan Bassam here with my buddy Kym Lloyd. We've got another Road to 100 podcast for you presented by Mallard Bay, your best guide in outfitter solutions, Benelli Firearms, the best shotguns on the market, Lacrosse boots, keep those feet warm, RW Coolidge for the best nostalgic leather and canvas goods for the waterfowler, First Light, their new waterfowl line has been keeping us warm and dry on our hunts around the world, Apex Ammunitions from steel to tungsten, best ammo for the job, Sound Gear, protect your hearing and enjoy the hunt. Montana Knife Company, you got to eat those birds, guys. And finally, Safari Club International, our favorite conservation organization, protecting hunters' rights around the world.
And in this episode, we'll sit down with our buddy Hunter Jarvis, the man behind Chinook Waterfowl. From cleaning birds at a young age to owning his own outfit in Canada, get to know Hunter and his passion for waterfowl. Get ready for some hilarious guide stories, insights on gun rights and hunting in Canada, learn some new Canadian slang, and even hear about some bighorn sheep hunts. Stay tuned for this episode of the Road to 100 podcast. In the heart of every waterfowl hunter, there's a memory where it all began. For us, the waterfowl life started in the southern United States in the flooded timbers and expansive marshland. But as our journey unfolded, the quest for waterfowl led us beyond our home. The passion eventually takes us to different flyways, different countries, and beyond. We discovered that the culture of waterfowl transcends borders. And so, a daring dream took root, a dream to hunt 100 different species of waterfowl across the globe. We wanted to share the story of adventure and encounters with fellow hunters, each sharing the same passion as us. The landscapes will change, the species will vary, but the passion remains the same. One dream, a long road, 100 species. This is the Road to 100. All right, everybody, welcome back to the Road to 100 podcast. I'm Kym Lloyd, joined here by Logan from Mallard Bay and Ryan Bassam, who's just my buddy and also does Road to 100 stuff. And our special guest today, Hunter Jarvis. We're up here in Alberta, Part 2 Alberta, a little bit south from where we were last time. And Hunter, tell us a little bit about what happened today, because we...
Whoa, hold on a second, though.
Oh, okay.
You're jumping the gun on me, bro.
I just wanted to get into a little bit of the, okay, we did it, we did the thing, now we're sitting here and we're talking about it.
But here's the thing, we built the anticipation. Now I kind of want to make everybody like...
That's true, that's true.
I just hit y'all with that cliffhanger, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we had a horrible day, so y'all don't want to hear about it. Just go ahead and turn this off.
No, I think... If you want to hear about the amazing day we had, because it was amazing. There's not many days that happen like today.
That's true.
You're going to have to just sit tight because it's another session of rapid fire right now.
That's right. I forgot about rapid fire. Oh, my gosh.
Oh, boy. This rapid fire is going to truly tell us what's going on in the head of our guest before we really start to tighten the screws and dig into Hunter and what he's all about. You know what I mean? So, without further ado, this is just going to – it's 10 questions. It's totally weird and random. Just in 60 seconds or less, we're going to knock this out. So, all right. Bad breath or body odor?
Oh, bad breath.
Ducks or geese?
Ducks.
Netflix or Hulu?
Netflix.
Good call. Layouts or A-frames?
Layouts all day, baby.
I knew it.
I knew it was going to be that. Let's see. French fries or onion rings?
French fries.
Good call. 20 gauge or 12 gauge?
12.
Yeah.
20s are fun, but 12.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Blondes or brunettes?
Blondes, baby.
Life is a blonde.
Yeah, you know, I mean, come on.
Right?
It has to be blonde.
I knew the answer to that.
Yeah.
One. Good call. All right, so now let's go to poor and happy or rich and miserable.
Poor and happy.
Good call.
Yeah. Heck yeah.
2 more. Ooh, what's another good waterfowl one I want to do? Full bodies or silhouettes?
Full bodies.
Beards or mustaches?
Ooh. That's a hard one. Beards.
What? Okay, all right. So now we know where the man stands.
Yeah.
So, all that being said, Kym and I have been lucky enough to be hunting with Hunter for 3 years now. We've been up here.
Yeah.
Is it our 3rd year up here?
Yeah, third.
I think it's our 3rd year. I've been coming for a little bit longer because I was doing the deer and the bear stuff.
Yeah.
But Kyle, I've been here for 3 years now, which is really, really cool. Logan's just now meeting Hunter on this trip. And so it's been a lot of fun. But I think what I always like to have people learn about our guests is like, dude, like where it all started for you as a kid. Like, what is it like growing up here in Alberta? I would love to talk about your family, what your dad does, what he's been doing for the last 3 decades, I guess now.
Yeah.
And how that's kind of molded you into what you do today. So you grew up here in Raymond, Alberta, is that right?
Yes, yeah. I grew up in Raymond. My whole life I've lived here. I've moved, I dual citizen, so I've moved to the States. I've done the States thing. Lived in Idaho, Utah, Montana. But yeah, kind of my whole life I've spent a lot of time here in Raymond and all Alberta, hunting all over. Yeah, growing up, I mean, my dad's been an outfitter my whole life, so since I could walk, I was, doing the ducks and the geese, and we were, big game, and whenever I could get out with my dad to ride around and watch him shoot stuff and take clients out, I was always trying to do it. When I was like 7 years old, my dad had me cleaning birds for him, and so that kind of sparked the bug, but yeah, so that's kind of where I started everything.
Sure. Well, and I believe, because what I've been able to see, I've been in bear camp with you. I think we were in deer camp a little bit together.
Yeah.
And then obviously a ton of bird hunting. But you might be one of the hardest working outfitters and guides I've ever hunted with. I'm not even kidding. And I've been hunting all over the place. Like, you freaking hustle, dude. And so I think it's just a testament to how, your dad raised you and your brother, and how hard you guys do work, and it's just a genuine love and joy for what this is. I just imagine little Hunter was just like freaking crazy little Tarzan baby running around Alberta, like running trap lines, and like doing all the crazy stuff. Because y'all still do get a bit of trapping too, right?
Yeah, we do a little bit of trapping. We've got a trap line up in northern Alberta that we spend a bit of time at, trying to catch wolves and all that. So,
sure.
Yeah, we do that, and growing up, I mean, we did a lot of trapping, shooting. I mean, I can remember as a little kid taking the 410 out and shooting muskrats off ponds with my dad. That was like the peak of my life. If I could go shoot a muskrat and freaking wade out in the water butt naked to get it, I mean, it was like a good day,
So solid day.
So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what? I don't think you fell in love with waterfowl hunting by cleaning birds for your dad. So
no.
Where did that love start? Because what most people don't know, so your dad runs the deer and bear operation, and then Tyler, your brother, helps a lot on the deer and the bear as well.
Yeah.
But you do the waterfowl thing on your own, and they don't really mess with a whole lot with the birds.
No. So yeah, like growing up, that's kind of my dad. He's slowly transitioned. He started out doing waterfowl, and then he slowly transitioned into the big game side of things.
Got it.
So growing up, when I was little, we did bird hunting, and then, as I got older, 10, 11, 12, it was mainly big game. My dad was out doing his thing with the deer. And I actually started working for an outfit, cleaning his birds, and he would take me out to hunt with him and whatever. And that's what really sparked the bug for me. I would go out and ride around with him and scout, and I would go, brush blinds for him. I'd just do anything I could to get out to be in the atmosphere of bird hunting, So that's kind of what sparked the bug for me, because like you said, my dad and my older brother, they don't do a whole lot. I mean, I've probably bird hunted with my dad 10 times since I've really started doing it hard, and same thing with my older brother,
Right.
just a handful of times. So they're just busy with their deer side of things. And
Sure.
So
do you remember your first hunt, like where you're like on the trigger?
Oh yeah, I do. I remember it was me and another buddy, that one of my best friends. We cleaned birds together and everything, and we went out with the outfitter. He had a group of clients in that he'd hunted with a ton and whatever. They were okay with us going out with them, so he put both me and my buddy, and we probably 12, 13 years old, in one layout blind together. And we had one gun to share between us, and I remember getting out there, and I just remember pulling up on a duck, and I thought I hit it. I mean, probably didn't, but I can remember that hunt like it was yesterday. That was my first time. That's awesome. And it was pretty memorable.
For sure. It's easy to get addicted to, no doubt. That's crazy. And so Tell me a little bit more, because like I think your dad's story is kind of fascinating. Like we touched on it a little bit, but he's not just an outfitter that's been here in Alberta for like 30 plus years. Three Rivers Adventures has been around for several decades, but like he's had some pretty notariable people in the industry come and hunt with him over that time too. I know the Lukowski's come a good bit, the Drurys.
Yep.
But what else does he do here in Alberta? Because he's the president.
Yeah, so he's the president of APOS, which APOS is Alberta Professional Outfitter Society. So he's been the president for the last handful of years, and that keeps him really busy. Basically, they're just doing all of the they basically govern all the outfitters in Alberta. So
Gotcha.
we as outfitters, we have to go through APOS to get our licensing, our insurance, our basically to be able to run. So
Gotcha.
essentially he's kind of over all of that for all the outfitters in Alberta. I don't, off the top of my head, I don't even know how many. It's hundreds of them. So that keeps him really busy, with government stuff, trying to keep laws the same or changed or whatever needs to happen to help the hunting industry and the, profits come in and stuff like that. So he works really close with the government and government officials to try and, make it better for everyone as far as the hunting goes and to, for everyone's experience basically. So, yeah.
That's super interesting.
How did he transition into that?
Yeah, that is a good question. I think just over the years, like when you outfit for a long time, you get to know people in the industry, and I think it was probably one of the older guys, he kind of got my dad into it and asked him if he would sit on the board and just to listen in and give input and stuff if you had it. And he really enjoyed it, and he enjoys doing the working with government and that kind of thing. So I think he just transitioned kind of, and it helps a lot when you outfit and when they're trying to change something that shouldn't be changed, or
Right.
it's going to make it hard for you. It's good to have a say in what's happening.
Yeah.
So
He's kind of one of those go-to voices, is he not?
yeah, he is. He's
I've been riding the truck with him before, like just scouting or whatever, and like he's taking calls.
oh yeah,
And he's like talking with government officials here in Alberta.
yeah.
And he's like, no, like this is why hunters need this, this, and that. And like he gets called into meetings, and so he's kind of the voice for the guides and outfitters, but also hunters at large here. I feel like across Alberta. And does that reach outside Alberta at all? Like, does he have any sway with other provinces and to make sure things for hunting are overall for the entire country good, or is it mainly just Alberta?
It's mainly Alberta. I mean, they talk to other like they talk to Saskatchewan and Manitoba and like all this stuff that happened with Manitoba with them changing all their waterfowl outfitting rules and stuff like that. Alberta and Saskatchewan they've been talking about doing similar things, not the same things, but just trying to figure out how to navigate that properly and not like not screw over non-residents, not screw over residents, not screw over outfitters, and make everyone happy. It's hard to please everyone, right?
Sure.
So,
It's a multi-billion-dollar business in Canada too.
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's a huge profit. Like, it's I don't know how many millions of dollars they bring in every year just from outfitting and guiding and the tourism business. So it is a really big business.
I would assume that just with his proximity to having those conversations, and then obviously you being a son and both outfitting, like, have you heard anything that you could even talk about that would be of concern for hunting in Alberta or for outfitters or anything like that? Or are things pretty good? Like, what is the state of affairs, if you will, on waterfowl hunting specifically here?
Yeah, no, everything is, as far as I've heard anyway, everything is pretty good right now. I think the one thing they're trying to figure out, and kind of like we talked about a second ago with the Manitoba thing, is how to basically stop people from illegally outfitting and to navigate that, because it's getting to be a bigger issue with people doing it illegally and not having the licensing and things like that, which you know, it makes it hard for guys that are doing it legally. And I mean, it's the same thing with anything, with poachers, with all that. It makes it hard for the guys that are doing it the right way.
Right.
And so they're trying to kind of work around some of that stuff right now. But other than that, I think, you know, everything's doing pretty good right now.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've got a question. Just about like growing up with your dad running an outfitter. What do you think are the key things that he taught you about running an outfitter
That's a good question.
You know, helped you?
Probably work ethic. You know, he made sure I worked a lot, and he told me how important it was, and he told me how, like, you know, clients see that, and it helps things go smoothly, and but also just to, you know, like, enjoy it and not get so caught up in it that you start hating it. Like, I still love to go out and shoot birds for myself. I do it almost every single day, and as soon as I have a break, I'll go out and hunt for myself, right? Like, right. So to not get so caught up in it that it's just a job and it, you know, takes over your whole life.
Maintain that love for the game.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, because so many guides get burnt out. I mean, it's just a natural thing that happens.
Yeah, for sure.
I think it's easy to experience that burnout, but yeah, keeping it fun, maintaining the balance. It's like that's key, but that's like a key life thing too. Like, you can apply that to so many things. You know?
And this is your childhood home that we are.
Well, yeah. So we grew up just down the road until I was probably 10 or 12, and then they moved us over here, and it kind of worked out. They kind of built it so that we could keep people here. And, you know, that now that everyone's gone and all my other siblings have moved out and everything, you know, I rent it from them for the fall because they're out at their deer camp. So it works out pretty good for the time being anyways. So, yeah.
Sure. No, it's a good spot for sure. The other thing I was curious about, I know we're kind of like dancing around within the conversation, but like with, I keep thinking about just my concern for like not losing the resource and being able to continue to come up here. But like the other side of it is with all the crazy gun law stuff going on, like, have you guys heard anything new on that? Like what is like the current update with that stuff? Because we had a little bit of a scare where they were like, oh yeah, like the gun I shoot, the Benelli SB3 was on that list of like no more. Yeah. So where's all that at now?
You know, I haven't followed it super closely recently. I think it's kind of gone away. Kind of what I heard is, you know, when they were trying to push all that stuff through, and they were just kind of trying to make a scene about it, trying to kind of pass some other laws at the same time, and drawing attention to the gun laws in general, because, you know, Alberta's fairly conservative, and you know, a lot of people own guns and stuff, so it worked a lot of people up there. But as far as I've heard recently, that, you know, it's kind of gone away. It got shot down pretty hard, like, and they've talked about even Alberta kind of doing their own like, I think in the States, you guys kind of have, each state has their own kind of gun laws that they get to enforce and whatever. So I think, you know, Alberta's talked about doing that. I don't know if it'll actually ever happen. But as of right now, I mean, it's kind of all gone away.
Gotcha.
But yeah, it would be a huge hit. I mean, if you could, like you said, the Benellis that we all shoot, and basically every other semi-auto, if you looked on there, and anything with I can't remember what size of bore, but like 12 gauge.
Exactly, the diameter it basically covered everything. It was
it was.
You can't hunt, you can't wing shoot.
Yeah. Oh, the list was it was insane how long that list was.
Yeah.
So you kind of brought up that Alberta is sort of conservative, and I like to bring this up, like, on all the hunts. People are the same but different everywhere.
Yeah.
And I, like, no matter where you go, I feel like there's people. I feel like we on the other side of the border get the story of Alberta's closing the whole thing down. It's over. We got to never go again.
Yeah.
But we don't see it over here. Like, how, I mean, for us, if anyone even proposed that list, everyone's freaking out and going out, and they're cleaning out whatever local store, buying all the guns. You know, it's just like, it's crazy. But when we hear it about Canada, we're like, well, that's normal. That's just what Canadians do. But hearing that, and then coming up here for the last 3 years and being around you guys, it's like the same people I grew up hunting with weird accents.
Yeah. Okay, low blow says the American.
but it just, I love to see that it's kind of the same thing. I mean, you guys you do whatever to keep those rights. So I guess my question is, like, being in the States and then coming back and hunting in both places, having rights in both places, is it, I know like the humanity aspect of it is similar. Do you think it'll ever get to the point in Canada where there's enough people to say, okay, we need our rights as hunters and citizens, not only just as hunters, but for self-defense, especially with all the grizzlies roaming around? They took away handguns. Do you think people like your dad and you, like, do you think there's a way to eventually persuade the government to let you have those basic human rights?
Jeez, these are like big questions. I'm just a
Giddy
guide.
Lock in, bro. Let's go.
No, but I do think that if it got to the point where they were going to try and take away all these rights that we have right now, that there would be enough people. I think I see it in the States too, where, kind of the working guy, he doesn't really he's not really voicing his opinion like some people do. We kind of just keep to our own and do our thing and whatever. But I do, I think that if it got to a point where they were trying to take our guns and they were trying to take all these rights from us, that we would, everyone would stand up and voice their opinion enough that it would, it would change. And we're lucky enough in Alberta that we have, enough people that care about it and that do it. They kill deer or moose or elk or whatever it is to fill the freezer and to, basically to eat for the year. I know a lot of guys that they, will donate birds to them for, they have really big families or whatever, and they can't afford to go to the grocery store and buy meat. So we give them donate a lot of meat to them and stuff like that. So I think that it's important enough for people's livelihoods that it would hopefully, be able to.
I've got a question on that note. What is your opinion on versus the States in here? Do you think the regulation of outfitting is more effective or better for outfitting in general, or is it a negative?
Like what regulation?
Like having your sections where you can only outfit, and that's just not a thing in the States, or maybe only in some states.
Yeah, like I don't know how exactly it works in all the states, but here, basically, if you own so a WMU is like a wildlife management unit, and so Alberta is split up into however many WMUs, and outfitters. For waterfowl guys, there's 4 outfitters allowed in each WMU. So there can be 4 different guys, or one guy can own all 4 allocations in that area. Now I think it's managed pretty well that way. It doesn't overcrowd an area. It still leaves enough enough birds and things like that residents can go out and people can go out and still hunt and not be completely blocked out of an area. So I do think they manage that pretty well, and I don't know exactly how they do it in the States, so I'm not totally sure.
It's just a free-for-all for the most part. Yeah. I mean, other than the big game units, which is totally
select
different.
Draw.
Yeah.
What is the, like, if you yourself as a resident of Alberta, you want to go hunt, you can hunt anywhere, right?
Yeah.
What's the public land space like for not only waterfowl but for big game stuff like?
Waterfowl, it's not a lot. Basically the only public land for waterfowl hunting is like the DU projects.
Really?
So it's very minimal. Big game, it's a little more. We have a lot of lease land, grazing land that's technically, it's kind of a weird deal. Like people farm it and they can tell you no, but you're technically have the right to hunt it. So that's kind of a gray area. And then they have crown land that anyone can hunt. And it's not like the States where you guys have a ton of crown land that you can just go out and backpack for a week and whatever.
We're lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt. That's super interesting.
Yeah.
But
So can we dive into Hunters.
You really want to talk about?
No, I don't want to talk about today. I want to dive into how you've derailed me from that. I want to talk about how you initially, like you said, you got the bug to hunt. When did you realize that you wanted to make a living doing this? Like you wanted to make it your life?
Man, probably when I was like 12 years old. I was like, man, I freaking love this. I want to do it. Like, I started a little like bird cleaning business. I cleaned birds for like 4 different outfitters in the area. They'd bring all the birds and I would, start cleaning them. I hired like 3 of my buddies, my little brother. We did it in my mom's garage, just freaking blood and feathers and guts everywhere. Like we'd be out there till like 1 in the morning, negative 20, just freezing to death, just clean these birds. I mean, we'd, and as a little kid, you make $10,000 in a fall doing it, and you split it with 3 of your buddies, and you're freaking rich, and you're like, you love it. But you're also getting, you get to talk to these outfitters every day, and like, oh man, I wonder how many they killed today. Like how many,
Yeah.
And they'd bring you 50 birds, and you'd be like, holy cow, like how did they do that? And then and then you get to go and do it with them, and you're like, this is freaking awesome. Like,
that's cool.
So that's kind of how I like when I wanted to start doing it, and just kind of took off from there. Basically, I just got with an outfitter and did anything I could to help them and be a part of it, and
then you're able to get your own WMU and start Chinook. Is that right?
That is right. Yeah. So
how long have you been running Chinook now on your own?
2018, I think we got it right before COVID hit.
Okay.
Great timing.
Yeah, it was perfect. Shut us right down right after I spent a bunch of money. Nope. Yeah. So, we started kind of 2018, and then we got shut down from COVID. And then after COVID, things fired right back up, and we've been kind of going full tilt from there. So, it's been awesome. It's been a ton of fun. It's been a huge learning curve from, watching my dad do it to now doing it myself, and trying to work out the little kinks and what works and what doesn't and what you need to change and do better. And, so it's a big learning curve.
One question I always think is a little bit interesting. I don't know that I ask it very often to outfitters, but what do you think I'm going to staying on topic, but slightly changing here. What are some of the biggest mistakes that you think clients make when coming to hunt with an outfitter?
That's a good one.
We
made all of them, so he doesn't want to say.
Like just
roast us.
No, a lot of clients, I see it more with the big game side of things, like guiding, bear hunts or deer hunts or whatever it is, more than waterfowl. Like waterfowl, I feel like is a lot easier for a new person to get into and start doing and enjoying and being successful at. There's obviously things that you can do wrong. Clients getting up and shooting early when there's 3 birds in the hole, but there's 300 behind them working in perfect. Or, it's just little stuff, but with the big game and stuff like that, simple stuff like shooting your bow a bunch before you come up here to try and kill a mule deer, and not wounding animals or, stuff like that. But for the most part, clients are great, and, they've never done it before. So I think as outfitters, you got to kind of take a step back and be like, look, these guys don't, we do this every single day. I could pick apart, okay, that guy's got his face up too high. That guy's not closing his blind enough. That guy, stuff like that. But I try and, if I did that every day, I'd be a lot grumpier.
No, exactly. I think that's an awesome outlook to have, because you can't go into it. Like, I love that question, but I hate it at the same time, because you can't have this pessimistic view of the people that you're really there to try and entertain and make sure they have a great time. And they're paying you for that.
Yeah.
And so I think that's a great outlook and mindset to have. I think it kind of serves as a good segue going to the Dirtbag Diaries.
Before we go into Dirtbag Diaries, I've heard you say this before, and I remember the first time I heard it, I was like, oh, that's so cool. But tell us the meaning behind Chinook.
Oh, good call.
Yeah, so Chinook in Alberta, it's basically central to southern Alberta. They call it a Chinook wind. So we get a lot of snow, but we get these Chinook winds. It's basically a warm wind that blows over the mountains and melts all our snow off. So we'll get a foot of snow, but in 4 or 5 days, we'll get a big warm wind, 30, 40K, which is like, 25 mile an hour, 30 mile an hour winds. And it just blows everything off, melts it off, and kind of sets everything back to normal. So that's
Is that an Indian word?
It is, yeah. I think it's an old Indian word.
Yeah, that's what I said.
So
Sounds like it.
yeah.
Pretty cool. Very cool.
And in case you guys didn't catch it, Chinook Waterfowl is
Yeah, it's
Hunter's outfit. So
Yes.
yeah, and I remember being up here at some point, and I got really confused because I heard Chinook, and then I heard your dad say, "Is it toque? Is that hat?
toque.
Toque?
It's a beanie.
Chinook.
No,
Oh,
no,
a toque.
it-
A toque.
A toque.
Toque.
A toque.
Yeah, because he was like, "You forgot your toque," and I was like, "I don't have a toque."
Okay.
First of all,
Okay, before we go into Dirtbag Diaries, stupid Canadian
Oh,
words
my
God.
versus
Oh, yes.
stupid U.S. words.
yeah,
Oh, here we go.
The freaking toque. So for everybody who doesn't know, a toque is literally just like a beanie.
yeah.
Um,
Is it
toque.
just a beanie, or can it be a cap?
No,
or,
it's a toque,
so
which
it's
is like
a beanie.
a bean. Yeah, but do you feel like a man when you say beanie?
I don't wear beanies.
That's true.
Well, I'm saying toque for now. All right.
That's a fair point. That's a fair point. I like toque.
And then we were talking about it because in the South, it's kind of a weird thing. I get made fun of it in Montana
Yeah.
because I say toboggan as
Yeah.
a hat.
Yeah.
Because
that's a weird one.
it is weird, but we don't have
it like a
toboggans, the sleds, because we don't have snow.
Yeah.
So we didn't know what toboggan was. We just assumed
Right.
it was a hat, and we just ran with it.
Yeah.
So, what are some
You
other
got that from East
weird?
Texas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't learn
Toboggan.
That in Texas.
Toboggan.
No,
Yeah,
I know
I've
it's a
heard that
toboggan.
before.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like-
yeah.
What are some other Canadian words that we've learned up here and we've been like, what?
Like a poutine.
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 Okay, we
Oh,
need
here
to
goes
we,
Kayam.
we need to ask.
Here goes Kyan.
We need to ask Hunter this. So we've been on a quest to find good poutine, and we stopped. Where did we stop?
Oh,
Was
We
that somewhere
stopped-
near Lethbridge?
We were in Lethbridge.
And it was at this
stopped
like
at,
Buffalo Wild Wings type place.
No, but it was like a bar,
that happened to
Hudson.
have
but
poutine.
not like a chain. It wasn't like a.
They had a
Yeah.
whole poutine special menu.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
a little flip calendar menu that was
Let's
just
ju-
poutine.
Let's just get this straight. Is it over or underrated?
yeah.
Underrated. It's so good.
Okay.
Where do we
okay,
get,
so then
where
we went
do
to the
get
wrong
good
place.
Yeah.
poutine?
We
Because
went
we
to the
were
wrong
like
place.
very unimpressed.
Yeah. No, the best poutine is Costco.
You gotta be kidding me.
100%. Yeah,
All right.
like $4.
Hell yeah.
All right, well
Is there
now we know
Costco?
where
He's
to
got a
go.
Costco
Yeah.
card.
It's freaking good.
You got a
yeah.
Costco card?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right. You're gonna watch this episode. We're going to Costco.
We got to go to Costco and get the poutine. We've been trying to find good poutine.
We're
so-
like,
Okay,
oh,
when
there's
can
gonna
we
be like,
talk
oh.
about this morning?
Sorry,
I
a
just-
second.
Well,
We're still. We'll talk about this morning.
All right.
We will. But is there any other Canadian words that we need to dog real quick?
I'm trying to think.
Wait,
I
hold
mean-
on. We didn't even explain what poutine is.
Oh yeah.
We should
Isn't
do
it just
that.
tell us.
Okay, so poutine is French fries with cheese curds smothered in gravy. And it's freaking the best thing that your taste buds will ever
And they have it at
experience.
the Canadian Costco.
Yes.
That's
yeah, Canadian
pretty cool.
Costco.
That's where the
We have
best-
freaking hot dogs. That's lame
Yeah.
compared to
Or the,
poutine.
Yeah, we got
the
hot
pizza.
dogs
The
too,
pizza
but-
at Costco down the States. is
Yeah,
pretty
Yeah.
that is pretty good.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we got. I'd say that for me, anyways. I mean, somebody will probably disagree with me, but
Okay.
the Costco poutine is
All right.
pretty dang good.
good. The quest continues.
Yeah. Okay, real quick on the food while we're on it. What are your favorite Canadian chips? Because y'all got some wild chip
That's
flavors.
true.
Ooh. Probably the all dressed, Ruffles
I
all
had a
dressed.
feeling,
it's freaking
yeah.
good, man.
It-
Or the ketchup chips are pretty deadly though. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
ketchup chips.
ketchup
And
chips
what
are
are the little
deadly.
Cheeto things?
Yeah, like
Cheesums?
like cheesies,
Cheesies. are good. I had
Cheesies.
cheesies today.
like
Yeah.
Grandpa's cheesies. Oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
good.
There's some. If you walk into any gas station, they've got some wild looking flavors. They
Hey,
got
the Beaver Buzz.
and yeah,
Yeah,
beaver
yeah.
buzz.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We have poutine flavored chips.
What?
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Well, we gotta
Like
get those.
yeah,
too
like
now.
Ruffles makes a poutine flavored chip. Oh yeah, it's
that's
freaking
just-
good.
Jeez.
Man.
Yeah, all sorts of wild
All,
stuff.
all great
Yeah.
things to
Yeah.
explore in Alberta.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right, Logan. I think I'm ready to talk about
Okay.
this.
Are we
morning.
all
There we
ready
go,
to
there
put
we
this
go.
out on the table now?
We've built it up.
Yeah.
Well, so today is day one, and we're going to record our podcast today, obviously. So I kind of got the impression that maybe I always say don't doubt the scout, but I kind of feel like maybe the scouting report wasn't 100% accurate, and we weren't exactly Like it went well, obviously.
Yeah.
And then we made a switch up, and it got even better.
Yeah.
Walk us through this morning from your perspective, the guide's perspective. Then we'll give you the hunter's perspective.
Yeah, I mean, we pulled up to the field, and it, the scout had told me the night before, like, it's kind of a green field. He told me it was a stubble field, but it can be hard to tell from where you're looking at it.
Fair point.
To be, to be like, oh, that's a barley field or
right.
Whatever. So, he told me it was a stubble field with a lot of green in it. So when we pulled up to the field this morning, that's what it was.
Right. We got on that edge.
Until we got on the edge, and I walked out there, and I was like, oh man, there's potatoes in here. like I've never done this before, but I've hunted like canola before. I've hunted, but I've never done potatoes. So I've
hunted potatoes, and I've hunted beets. But that's been a long time since I hunted potatoes, so I was excited. I was like, sweet.
Yeah, it could be. So anyways, I was like, well, this is weird. But I walked around, there's crap everywhere and stuff. So I was like, and he's a dang good scout. I mean, every single time he does a good job. So I think what happened was, the Canadas were getting in there.
Yeah.
Snows just sucked into the Canadas, and then the ducks just followed after, So I don't know if that's where the ducks exactly wanted to be, but I'm sure that's probably where they ended the night. If he told me that's where the ducks were, I'm not saying that he.
Right.
So, but yeah, we pulled up to the field. We got on the edge. There was a good edge hide, lots of tumbleweed and stuff. So I was happy about that. Like, if you can get a good hide, you usually can have a pretty dang good hunt. We ran a small little spread out there with, a bunch of Canadas and Snows. And when I was going to park the truck, I got out of the truck, and there was just ducks, like wave after. I bet you I saw like probably 2,000 or 3,000 ducks.
That's what I said when I got back.
Yeah, buzzing the cornfield already. I was like, oh, here we go. Like, it's gonna if the ducks, different places I've guided, a lot of times you can pull the ducks, like little groups of ducks. But down, around here, I have never had a lot of success. If you're not where they want to be, you're not gonna. If you're 600-700 yards off, they'll go past you and land in the field.
Right.
So I was like, well, this is not looking good, right? I'm getting a little stressed out. Like, frick, this is gonna, we're gonna be watching 10,000 ducks ball up behind us all morning, and so, but yeah, I felt pretty good about the snows and everything. So, luckily, once it got light, obviously the snows started doing it right. And
right.
So we killed a few of those, and
that was a pleasant surprise for us because I wasn't expecting that many snows to be up here this time of year, November 7th.
Yeah. Last week when we got that cold front, I was like, we had probably double what we have for snows right now. And we've got a lot of snows here right now.
Yeah.
And I was like, frick, this is awesome. And then that cold front came, and I literally sat on one of the roosts one day, and I watched probably 40,000 snows leave and probably 20,000 mallards leave, and I was like, oh frick, this is super not cool.
and I thought they would just leave, because even in Montana where we were at, like, you could see them migrating. It's like, oh, there they go.
Yeah.
And so to come up here 2 weeks after that event, that weather event, and there be this many snows up here, it's like they bounced back, and I don't think people realize that, and I think you see it more often than other people where you get that weather event and everyone's like, oh, here they come. I'm down in Texas. The ducks are coming to me.
Yeah.
No. If it warms back up, they will come back up to that
see a lot of
line.
these types of ducks in Texas.
Well, I know.
Mallards. But and it was nice. It's almost like this year has been a little bit behind. So as far as like the migration goes, and it's still like I still feel like we're seeing it. Like we're not covered up in Canada like we normally are right now. But that did help us with the snows. There was still a ton of snows north of us. Mm-hmm. And when that cold front came through, they pushed down, but they stopped here. And those other ones that were already here, they kind of pushed out, which didn't really hurt my feelings. A lot of those were lead edge birds, and they were a little finicky and whatnot. So it was good to get kind of a different push in. But it was a little stressful there for a second.
Yeah, but when it turned on nice.
Yeah, and then I looked at the weather, and it was like, above freezing for the next, basically into December. Like, and me and Josh, the scout, we were like, we looked at each other after we looked at that one night, and we're like, we're gonna be shooting snows in December this year.
Yeah.
You know,
It's lining up that way for
yeah.
sure.
So
A lot of people aren't going to want to hear that, but that's definitely how
Yeah.
it's starting to stack up. So,
Well, there's
So
not
it
a
was-
lot of water down south.
yeah, no, I mean,
yeah,
no, it's going to be an interesting season, just kind of what we're seeing already. But so we ended up with like what it was like 50, 52 snow geese.
oh geez, I don't even like. Yeah, so, well, I wrote it down on my phone.
Oh, there you go.
Keep track of it all. 70 snows, because if we killed all our
That's right.
yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that's quite the beatdown. In fact, the other folks that are with us from Whitetail Properties, they were saying that's the best snow goose hunt they've ever had. So
Yeah.
I was pretty excited for them for
I
that.
hadn't shot snows like that since Saskatchewan, like
Yeah.
6 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, and for Kyle, that was your first snow goose.
It was my
Really?
first snow goose.
Oh,
Yeah.
there you go.
Yeah.
And
It was
checking it off for the project too.
In a
Yeah.
potato field.
in a potato
In a
field.
potato field. Yeah.
in Canada.
Yeah, what you didn't
in
know it was a
November.
potato field until I asked you if you wanted hash browns this morning.
I was confused, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah, I heard
Sweet.
Logan say like, "Oh, potatoes." I was like, "What is he talking
I know, I
about?
was like, yeah.
Potatoes?" Yeah. No, that was
Big dance
awesome.
legit,
That
yeah.
was a pleasant surprise.
So I'm more excited to talk about when you decided that you kind of got up and
Yeah.
gave us an option, like, hey, we can go hit this field behind us, the corn stubble where the ducks are. Like, that's a big move to make. I mean, we picked up the whole entire spread
Yeah. Oh,
in
yeah.
20 minutes.
Yeah.
And
Not many
left.
people would do that.
No,
No.
I've never seen it done on a hunt before. I've only done it once at my farm, and we went to one blind from a different blind, and like it
Right.
worked, right?
Yeah.
But what gives you the confidence to do that?
Well, I mean,
There was a lot of
we weren't shooting ducks where we were at, so
And they were clearly right behind us.
Yeah. No, I mean, on days like today where it was overcast, rainy, those birds are going to be in the field all day. They were already bouncing back and forth. I mean, they're just filling up. I mean, they're trying to get as much food in them as they can. And so they're just going to be bouncing back and forth from the water to the field all day. So I figured, we killed a good pile of snows. We might as well, pop back there and see if we can't kill a few ducks. So
And at that point, it was only like 10 o'clock in the morning.
yeah, I mean, I think we started packing up at like 9:30. I mean, it was.
And it felt like we had been out there way longer.
Yeah.
than we
Yeah.
hadn't.
Yeah.
So it was fairly early, which
Yeah.
that also helped. Like, and I figured, the Canadas, they're not going to leave the field, and if you try and bump Canadas, they're just going to, go to a different field and not come back a lot of times. So I figured, try and get out and bump those ducks before they'd all come out
Exactly.
and get in them while we still had a few
That was
fresh
cool.
ones.
That's definitely, I mean, to your point, Logan, like that was the first time we were on a field edge, potatoes here, corn here, whacked 70 snow geese, picked up, maybe went 1,000 yards,
Yeah.
drove back over into the cornfield, bumped the ducks out. I mean, exactly where they're at, set up, and then proceeded to hammer
The
out.
first group comes in
group
like a
limit.
freaking ball.
Yeah.
I mean, just as soon as the trailer left,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
they
Yeah.
sucked right back in, and that was a heck of a shoot. You don't get 100 bird days all the time, so at
That's-
least not in the States.
I think
know
it's
you
my
probably-
maybe my second or probably my first 100 bird day.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh, well,
that's,
besides, well, no, we hit 98 in Sweden.
yeah, that's true. That's right. We were too shy, weren't we?
That
Forgot about
sucks.
that. Forgot about that. Yeah, that was frustrating. But that was phenomenal. It's a great way to kick off the trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Super good hunt.
Yeah, I'm interested to see how you follow this up tomorrow.
It gets better every day we're here. so
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was my
yeah,
understanding.
exactly.
100, 200, 300
Yeah.
is what I thought.
That
Yeah.
makes a lot of sense. I like that.
Yeah.
Too funny. Well, let's do this. So our Dirtbag Diaries are just funny guide stories. I know you've got a couple. I can think of one. If you can't think of one that I want you to tell, but like whether we don't have to name the innocent here or the not so innocent. We can use other names if we need to.
Yeah.
We don't piss off any
Funniest,
previous guides.
craziest stories
Crazy
you've
stories,
encountered as a
funny
guide.
stories, whatever it is.
All right. Well, here we go. I'm going to start with I don't know if it's funny or scary, but it was a story.
Scary's good too.
Yeah.
So I always try and take out some farmers every year.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the farmers that we hunt on, they want to hunt with us or whatever. So, but they don't hunt, right? I mean, that's probably the only hunt they do that year or maybe ever. And we were shooting snows. It was spring snows, and I got 8 farmers out there that had never hunted, right? And they were just jacked up. They were ready to roll. I mean, they were pumped. And so we threw out the socks. We put out a big spread. And, you know, first volley of snows comes in, and it's, you know, I think the roost got up on us, but it was probably 10,000 snows, and they just came in, and they freaking did it so perfect and got I mean, they were 10,000 snows trying to land on us, right? So it was freaking hectic. I call the shot. You know, they all shoot, freaking empty their guns, like 8 of them, and probably 3 birds fell. So I'm like, frick, man, this is going to suck. So I'm like, all right, get back down, load your guns up. And so we, you know, those ones kind of buggered off, and we're laying there waiting for the next volley to come, and all of a sudden just boom, you know, gun goes off in the blind. I was like, what just happened? Like
nightmare.
Nothing, you know, no birds in the air, just gun. I was just loading it, and it just went off when I put the shell in the chamber. I was like, was your finger on the trigger? Well, my hand was on the grip, like, you know, and I was like, holy cow. So I'm, you know, and I always try to be pretty safe when I usually do a speech, like, you know, when I'm out in front, guns up, because I've had some scary incidents. But, yeah, so whatever. I was like, hey, you know, just guys, we got to be careful, like, you know. So anyways, so hunt continues, you know, we keep shooting some birds, and then, you know, probably 20 minutes later, again, but two different guys, same time, not even kidding.
Crap.
2 guys, like, and the one guy, he had the gun, he was sticking the gun in his foot bag. Oh my God. Under his foot bag. Hole straight through the foot bag, and I mean, it was, anyways, it's not really a funny story, but it was a story. I was like, holy cow, man, we're going to die here today.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to die from these farmers.
The odds of that happening, too.
Yeah, it happened 3 times that hunt, and I was like, man, I'm going to die. And usually if it was like, you know, I'd be like, hey, guys, we're done. Like,
done.
this is
You need to have
freaking.
an annual farmers hunter season.
Yeah, no kidding.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Poor guys.
Yeah.
Well,
So,
luckily nobody got, because in fact we want to do a podcast with this kid. He's willing to do it, but he had a gun accidentally went off last year in Montana and shot himself in the foot.
Oh, really?
Had to have reconstructive surgery on his foot.
Wow.
Like, so it was a whole thing. So we'll have him on the podcast eventually.
Yeah.
But,
yeah.
that's
it's
scary stuff.
Yeah,
Scary
no, it's no
stuff.
good. But no, as fun as far as funny stories, I can think of a few. I think the one that you want me to tell is the one about the spring snows that we were hunting, and we had this group of guys coming, and they had a bunch of kids with them. They had, you know, like 5 or 6 kids, and then, you know, 5 or 6 adults. It was a really big group. We told them to be out there 5:30, you know, legal lights at 7 or whatever it was. So me and the scout went out to set up the spread and, you know, meet them at the field and everything. And, you know, we got there, started setting everything up. You know, 6 o'clock rolls around, they're still not there. So we start calling them. They didn't answer. 6:30 rolls around. You know, we're almost set up, you know, legal lights in like 30 minutes. We finally get a call like, oh man, so sorry. Like, the kids slept in, you know, we're trying to get everyone ready, this and that. So anyways, we're freaking rushed. You know, we don't have everything completely ready. You know, 2 guys setting up a snow goose spread. So these guys get to the field like 10 minutes before legal, and we bail them all out, throw all their crap out, and we rip. I mean, they brought like 7 trucks to the field. So we ripped all the trucks out like to the other end of the field, and we parked all the trucks, got out, got in the scout's truck. He drove us back to the spread, and I mean, the birds were coming at this point. So we're laying there. You know, we shoot a volley. They leave, and it's kind of quiet for a minute, and all of a sudden I just hear this loud like bang. I still don't know what it was, but it was just super loud bang back behind us towards the trucks. So I like look back there, and I see a truck coming in off the highway, and it like comes into the field, and I just figured it was the farmer coming to check out what was going on. So I called the scout, and I'm like, hey, like, come back and talk to the farmer and let him know it's us, you know, so he knows we're out here. And as I'm on the phone with the scout, like, I see one of the client's trucks start to pull out of the field. And I, like, go down this giant line of guys, and I'm like, hey, did any of you guys leave your keys in your truck? And, you know, no. And I get to the very last guy. And, I left mine in my gas cap. I'm like, oh, yeah? a white Chevy? Oh yeah, that's what it was. Like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, it's pulling out of the field right now. So I don't know who these guys were. They must have been watching us, but they pulled into the field, stole this guy's truck, and I mean, they rat bagged it out of this field. And the approach up onto the highway was like, it was dang near a 90, and this guy hits it in this guy's truck, just full speed, like right onto the highway, like, full speed, and he just takes off down the highway. And I'm like, yo, dude, go follow it, like, start chasing this guy, like. I don't know what to do. I'm like, get off phone with me, call that cop. So anyways,
so crazy.
Like the scout is the scout is following this guy, and anyways, cops are like, we can't do anything. We're an hour away, whatever. This is like, it was just, yeah. I mean, it was crazy. That was probably the craziest thing that's ever happened to me in the field.
I don't know if I've ever heard of anybody getting their truck
So they
stolen.
Out of the field.
No sign of that truck ever again?
No,
or?
so they found it later that day. All their stuff had been stolen out of it. I think they had like 2 guns in there. They had all their wallets, all their stuff. Like, it was actually a pretty sucky deal. But it was like kind of funny. I always tell guys, I always joke with guys now, like, you don't leave your keys in your gas cap. And
Yeah,
but
definitely not.
So
crazy.
yeah.
Unreal.
But
yeah, the things that you don't expect to happen.
No.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, one more quick one. This was this year, so it's like still a little tender. But I was, we were going out to the field in the morning. I just drank a bottle of water or whatever, or a Red Bull or any, I don't know what I had to pee so bad. Like, I mean, I had to pee. And we were hunting a stand-up blind, so you're close to everybody. But anyways, we pull into this field, and I mean, I was about ready to pee my pants. So usually when you pull in, I did my loops around, tried to figure out where we were setting up, found the spot, and I parked the truck. And I bet you 99% of the time, clients will park beside me or behind me. Mm-hmm. They never pull up in front of me or like around to my driver's side. Like, so anyways, I get out of the truck, and it's these clients that, they're pretty like high up people. They're important. They're, and they are sophisticated, I guess you could say. So
a little hoity-toity.
Yeah. And so they bring their mom. They're super, super nice people. They're, great people. They bring their mom with them every year. And so I, I'm like sitting out there peeing, and I'm, full mid-pee here, and all of a sudden I see out of the corner of my eye this car pulling around the hood of my truck, and I'm standing out front peeing, and I'm like, I don't care if these guys see me, but I don't want this like nice lady to see my pecker, really. so I'm midstream, and I freaking tuck it back in my pants, pee all down my leg, man.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh, this is the worst thing to ever happen to me. Like, and I didn't tell him, but like, I sat there for the rest of the night, and I could smell the pee on me. And I was like, these guys probably just think that I'm like just a stinky, gross dude. And really, I just pissed all over myself 5 minutes ago. And like, I'm just sitting there like, oh, this freaking sucks, man.
Oh my gosh,
So,
that is a good one.
That was
Man, what a gentleman.
I was like, I don't care if those guys see, but I don't want this nice lady to see this.
I'm not quite sure what I would have done in that situation either. Probably tried to cut it off myself.
I tried. It was too, it all happened too fast. So, yeah.
Oh, that's a good one, man.
Yeah.
Great one to end it on. So
Yeah.
funny. Well, if you want to come and hunt Chinook waterfowl and watch Hunter piss his pants, what's the best way for people to get a hold of you?
Yeah, email, phone. I have an Instagram.
We'll drop it all right here.
Yeah. So, but those are kind of the main 3 that I use. Cool. Email and phone. You can text me, call me, whatever.
For sure.
Pretty available and all that.
Awesome. Well, we'll make sure people that listen to this podcast, watch this, that they'll have an opportunity to get a hold of you. I mean, obviously, Kyle and I've been up here for 3 years. We keep coming back for a reason. So you'll see it in the footage. So it's a pretty special place, and you do a great job. And we're lucky to get to come up here and hunt with you. So the final 2 questions that we end our podcast with. Number 1, if you could hunt waterfowl anywhere in the world, where would you go? And it could be here, or it could be freaking, I don't know, Tibet, whatever.
Yeah. That's a tough one. I love Alberta. I mean, I love killing birds in Alberta, but I think probably Alaska.
Yeah.
I think that would be.
Yeah.
That's my bucket list place to hunt.
Yeah. Alaska's pretty special.
Yeah.
And then the final one is, of course, what is your number one bucket list bird?
It'd be the king eider probably
There
in
it is.
Alaska. Yeah.
I always find it interesting. Sometimes it lines up and sometimes it doesn't.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no. Well, hopefully one of these days you can get it done. I'm sure you will. So
Yeah.
it's definitely worth it. But, well, awesome, man. Appreciate you, jumping on the podcast with us. Super excited to show everybody what you do. And yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow morning.
Yep.
It's going to be another big snow goose beat down, hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, Hunter.
Yeah, thank you guys. It was fun.
Appreciate it, dude.
Yeah.
Let's go to bed.
Yeah, no kidding.
Bedtime.